Hello, welcome to another episode of Custom Spray Mods. Now, unlike this car, most cars these days have plastic bumper bars. So today, I'm going to show you how to paint a plastic bumper bar straight from the factory. So, let's give it a go. So the first thing you need to do is get some paint. I've gone down to my local paint supplier, picked up the colour, got them to pump in the spray can for me. Okay, now here are the things you need for the job. I've got my plastic bumper bar, I've got some grey Scotch-Brite pads, some anti-static cleaner, I've got some plastic primer, I've got some scuffing paste, I've got my 2 spray cans of colour, I've got my 2 spray cans of acrylic clear, I've got some buffing pads, a drill to put the buff pads on, I've also got some cutting compound, and that's about it. I could also use some polish, but that's up to you. Make sure before you spray anything out of the spray can, you shake it up for about 30 to 40 seconds. That way, you make sure you get the same colour every time you spray it. Start off with 2 light coats and then finish with an even heavy coat. Now if your colour isn't a metallic, then you don't need to put clear coat on it. You can just spray the colour, let it dry, then buff it. Once again, when you're applying the clear coat, try and do some even, heavy coats. That way, when you go to sand it, it won't take you as long. Okay, I put 3 coats of the plastic primer on, I put 3 coats of colour, and then I put 3 coats of clear coat on it. Now I'm going to leave it for about a week, then come back, sand it with some 1200 grit sandpaper, and then give it a buff. That way I'll get a fully gloss finish. Okay, I let the paint dry for a week, now I have to sand it with some 1200 grit sandpaper and some water. See that there's parts that are still glossy, then you really need to sand it some more to get a perfect finish. You can see here it's not sanded properly, so make sure you get all those little spots out when you're sanding. Okay, now you've got to buff it, so just use your Mr. Buff compound and your buff pad on your drill bit and just buff it. When you're buffing, don't push down hard, and make sure you don't go too heavy over any edges, because if you leave it on those edges for too long, then it'll rub that paint off. When you're buffing, you don't need too much compound, just do it lightly and then go back and do it again until you're happy with the finish. Bird shit on the bar! Okay. Alright, check this out. As I was buffing it, a bird flew over and shat on it. Now how's that for luck? There you go, now you know how to paint plastic. All you have to do is get that plastic primer down, and you pretty much paint any plastic. Make sure after a week you buff it, and you get a nice glossy finish. Next time on Custom Spray Mods, I'm going to show you how to buff up this paint, make it look brand new again.